And we're live. This thing on. Welcome everyone to the Gamma Effect. Why Western men no longer want Western women. I wonder what it could be. To be honest with you, a specific or accurate statement would be why Western men no longer want Western society. It's everything. The women are just a byproduct of it, but the whole thing's pretty negative towards men. And then, of course, so women are pretty negative towards men. But in this video, what I'm going to show you is what women are saying. Some men are saying some things too, but women are putting it quite succinctly. When they're being honest, it makes a lot of sense. All different women, Caucasian women, melanated women, all of them are kind of saying the same thing in Western culture. So, first, I want to bring up this nice young lady who I think has a big following on TikTok, and she just explains common sense to women. But it's really weird from a man's point of view that these women don't understand. Before I get to it, I'll give you about 2 seconds, 3 seconds to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you can catch these videos. 2 seconds. Okay. And at the end of this video, please feel free to comment if you agree or disagree. Both are cool. Okay, here we go. Let's hear what she has to say.
Men want that women do not understand. One is that they want reciprocation, and it's not that hard, ladies. Text him first sometimes. Ask him how his day went. Ask him what went wrong. Love him with as few conditions as possible. And just be patient with him. The fact is that most men have experienced relationship after relationship with unbalanced efforts. It's been primarily him putting forth efforts without reciprocation. And then he's been burned and he's not doing that again. Two, he wants you to understand that he will never be perfect. At some point, he will be inconsistent. Sometimes he will be impatient. Sometimes it will be hard for him to handle your mood swings. He just needs to be able to have a bad day or even just a bad moment without it blowing up everything, because he wants you to be steady in your love for him and to realize that that bad moment, that bad day does not redefine him, that it's actually everything else that he's done right that should define him. These are two.
Okay. So, to the brothers out there, even my Caucasian homies, this is common sense. This is basic, right? Reciprocation. I think a lot of Western women don't understand the fact that they expect men to put out all the effort, especially in the beginning. When you go on a date, you got to plan it. You have to set it up. You have to initiate it. You have to approach her. You have to escalate it once you're on the date. You have to be interesting. You have to be funny. You have to be good looking. You have to break her out of her shell if she's shy. There's just so much effort that is to be put in just to make her, I guess, like you or decide to see you again. And if you're not getting that reciprocation, why would you continue to put out so much effort and not get anything back? It makes you feel like there's an uneven value or exchange, or at least perceived. So for us men, this is common sense, but women apparently don't understand this. That's what the women say themselves. The women do not understand that. And she's saying basic common sense things, but if she has to explain it to a big mass of people who are her TikTok following, I think it's safe to say that she's right. Women do not understand that. So if you have a bad moment as a man, it cancels out all of the good things that you've done. If you have a bad day, it just cancels everything out. Like they just don't give you a break. They have this standard that is like absolutely insane. And that's pretty much what she's saying. We just want to be treated fairly, and that doesn't happen in the USA. Why doesn't it happen? Well, another lady here has the reason. She has the information. So let's look at that. Another nice young lady, Caucasian lady, explaining what the deal is. Let's see.
By society, many modern women are rewarded by society for their.
Now, when she says modern women, she means Western women, U.S. women, UK, Australia, Canada, women like that, in these superpower nations. Here we go.
Many modern women are rewarded by society for their bad behavior, act like entitled, selfish princesses, are high maintenance but low reward, lack any sense of accountability, and a lot are feminists but not feminine. The worst part is they're all delusional about their true relationship market value. Of course, the real true keepers out there, they're hard to find, rare, and even harder to get. There's a lot of competition for them. It's no wonder men are choosing to stay single, but is staying single the best option for you? Many.
Okay, so she's breaking down how the society rewards bad behavior. That's what I'm saying. It's not just Western men no longer want Western women. It's the whole society. She's got an army. She's got a team of people that reward and back up her behavior. If she's divorcing you, she's got a whole court system and legal system, law set on a book, and a judge that is working for her interests, to have the wealth transferred from the man to a woman, no matter how hard he's worked or what the situation is. They have a law called no fault divorce. No matter what she's done, she's going to extract resources from you on her way out. So it rewards her bad behavior, even if she cheated, even if she's done anything. Disrespectful behavior doesn't matter, right? So that's what men are saying. Very bad behavior. And if you get one that's good, it's probably 1 out of 1,000. And the competition for her is fierce. Like they said, she's got all the cards because women in general are so hard to deal with in Western culture. She lays it out pretty nicely and succinctly, and she is not wrong. But at the end, she kind of twists a statement where she says, but that's why men are remaining single. But is single the best decision for you, right? And she's a dating coach, a wing lady. So she's trying to get you to figure out how to mesh or find a good woman or something like that in the Western culture. That is a failed policy. That is a failed approach. Men, get your passports and travel abroad. Out of the 3.5 billion women on the planet, 99% of them are not like this. These are just Western women. They're only in the superpower nations, right? UK, Canada, Australia, America. I don't know about Singapore, but Singapore does have a really high income, a really high wealth status in that nation. So it could be there, but not to slander them because I'm not sure if that society promotes what the West promotes. But travel, brothers. There's a lot of different options. So don't need to stay single, but just definitely don't fall into this trap. Okay. Now let's move on to a young man, or a few people being interviewed, and they're just asking, like, why do you have to put up with it? Once again, they got this flawed approach of not getting their passports and traveling. Pretty soon, within a few years, all the strong, out-of-the-box thinking men have gone away and traveled. And what's going to be left for these men who are just a bit depressed, a bit weaker, a bit beaten down, and they feel like they have no options, and they're just going to have this low-level energy. You're going to see this man when he speaks. He has a low-level energy. He's just down. You can just feel the underlying sense of, I guess I'll call it depression or anxiety. He's just not upbeat, powerful, and happy. He's beaten down already. You can see it. The men who remain in Western culture will probably succumb to this. Let's take a look.
Why should men spend so much time grooming themselves to please the toxic women here?
They take what they can get because they have to. That's how society has played them into, doing that. Good men aren't appreciated.
So,
poor guy, I feel so bad for him. You see how low he feels, and he's just like, they have no choice. This is what society's done. Because like I said, she's got an army, and the media, education system, everything, even the political system, it all supports her behavior. I don't know why they've done this, 2010, before that, it wasn't this way. I start noticing it about 2012, 2015. I had enough, and I left the country and been traveling, been a passport bro before the term was popular. But yeah, this last decade, 2012 to 2022, 2023, it's really hit the fan. And now men are in that state. Let's see what this young lady has to say. Tay Bebe.
I feel as though there's some men who do groom themselves for women because men want to provide and protect and all that good stuff. But I do feel like it's part of their thing that they want to do for themselves. I don't think men should do that. That's just my personal opinion. Groom yourself for you. Love yourself for you, not for other women, especially in today's generation where women are showing they don't care about men and they don't give a shit about them. Yeah.
Essentially,
Okay. So she lays it out. In this society, Western world, where women don't care about men and they don't give a crap, they're showing it. So why Western men no longer want modern Western women? I wonder why. I take it from her mouth. She's telling the tale. It's pretty clear. Pretty clear. Now, a lot of women say, I hear constantly on social media, is that men are emotionally unintelligent, right? They've got bad communication skills. They don't open up emotionally. They lack relationship awareness and things of that nature, right? And they're just pretty much saying the men are adequate. They're just not good enough at the bottom line. But, you know, when you really analyze it and you have women who are educated enough to look at it objectively and they're not thinking emotionally, they actually make pretty good points on this issue. Let's check out Dee. She's got a pretty good channel. Let's check out Dee and see what her channel has to say on this issue. I think brothers communicate. I think men communicate pretty well. We just have a different style of communication. And I think that women are centering themselves as the main important piece. And then everything goes outside from there. I said that in previous videos. So a man is just a piece of them, an attachment to them, like a purse or a handbag or something. And then their kids flow out of that, and they're the main dominant piece. And when you think like that, when women think like that, their emotional brain and how they process information becomes, I guess, the standard, which, you know, and that's supposed to lead the relationship and lead the family. And so when they engage men, it doesn't make sense, right? The math doesn't math. When I look at people like Fresh and Fit and they, you know, constantly say men need to lead the relationship, it's true. In most of the world, they do. I'm just praying and hoping that most of the women in outside world who aren't in superpowers don't start to take up this mentality. And to believe it or not, even women in developing countries, I've seen them have this mentality, and it's really frightful. But I think they're going to get the results that Western women have by the time they're 35 to 50, and they're really angry and depressed and blaming men. But I think even women in developing countries are going to have those same results if they keep following what these Western women are saying, and they think it's cool and trendy with these TikToks and these YouTube shorts, and they're following it because they think it's cool. They're going to get the same result. But that's their decision. Let's see what these women are saying about men and their communication and their emotional intelligence.
Communicate their emotions very, very clearly and upfront. And we have not been listening.
Men have more of a succinct way of explaining how they're feeling or what they're going through. And I think because women have multiple ways that we express our emotions, sometimes we can't tap into their very simple expression of what they're feeling. Them telling us with words exactly how they feel, we're ignoring because instead of hearing it, we're trying to interpret it. Oh, well, what did he mean by that? No, he meant what he meant. He said what he said.
Listen, what do you guys think about what she had?
Well, I'll tell you what I think about it. It's quite odd to realize that women just can't take straightforward communication. It's really odd. Like, they're looking at their way of processing information, a complicated way that makes them all crazy, all over the place, emotionally up and down and left and right. And they're applying that to men as if we're supposed to be communicating that way. And they're not understanding because they can't even listen to the words that we're saying. We're being very clear, very succinct, but they're wondering what we meant by that. We meant what we said. And so, yeah, for a man to hear that, it's really quite odd. And we kind of understand why we're having so much trouble and problems with these women, because they're not listening. They're not listening. And then they're going and talking to other women about what we said, and then they're getting their interpretation about what we said when, you know, we're being very clear and straightforward. It's like you can listen to a teacher in class and get this education and degree, but when you talk to a man, you won't listen to the words that he's saying and try to interpret it in this crazy multi-dimensional way. Men will never change to that. We will never adjust to that. We will always communicate clearly because that's the best way to communicate, obviously.
To say, do you agree or do you disagree? Let me know in the comments below. Listen, this is nothing new. Men are very logical and straightforward for the most part. They're straight to the point. They don't say something and mean something else. That's what women do. And I think that's a lot of the disconnect when it comes to communication between men and women, because women expect men to think the way they do, and they don't. And I always say this, there's a big disconnect between.
Tell me that's not weird. Women expect men to think and communicate the way they do. How weird is that? When have men ever done that? How are they claiming to be so educated and yet be so ridiculous with their mentality towards men? How can they be so off base? There is no chemistry. It's gone. It's gone. So women of the world, please stay away. Stay away from Western society. Brothers, if you go to another country, Vietnam, Dominican Republic, Brazil, anywhere, and you bring that woman back to America, this nice, bubbly 22-year-old who's beautiful and feminine and lovely, and you keep her here, and then she gets involved with these women in this environment, and by the time she's 30, she's completely different, totally argumentative. You have a hard time with her. The relationship is negative. Going down the road to divorce, and she's got that army of people behind her excusing her bad behavior, and you're wondering what the heck happened to her. It's your own fault. You get what you deserve because you shouldn't have brought her to this environment. All people are infected or affected by environment, but women are even more so affected by the herd of women, the beehive mentality, the art of persuasion. That stuff works on them because of the emotions that they run through their brain before they make decisions and before they decide what's good or not. You get what you deserve if you do it. Fair warning, it's all your fault. Don't blame anyone. Don't cry later. I do not recommend it whatsoever. Let's see what Didi has to say a little bit more.
Women understanding men and men understanding the nature of women. And I think for the most part, women, because we're more vocal, we are more emotional. I don't care what nobody say. Yes, there probably are some emotional men because a lot of these men were raised by women. They've gravitated to this emotional way of thinking and living because they've seen their mothers do it. So yeah, there are some men who are emotional, but I don't think it's a natural thing for most men. Most men are very clear and straight to the point of what they want, what they're gonna do. They're to the point, and we are not. We go all around in circles sometimes and come back to something. We gotta think about it. We gotta have our emotions. We gotta have our feelings and what we think about this and think about that. And they've already made up their minds. For the most part, they've made up their minds about what they want to do or whatever the situation is, and we're still pondering on it and going through all these different phases to come around to the same conclusion. A lot of times.
Now, who's got time for that? I know I don't. I don't have time for that. If she can't understand what I'm saying and she's got to go all this roundabout way to finally get to the place when I just told her straight, directly what it was, and it took her days to come to that, I don't got time for that. Men shouldn't tolerate that. If she can't listen, if she can't understand, Keep it moving. You're not in her world. She's in your world. That's the thing. Now, I think, like I said, get your passport and travel and experience more for a plethora of reasons. There are a lot of different opportunities globally. There's a lot of freedom of thinking in your mind that will happen when you're in another culture. A different perspective, different culture do things differently. And then a woman is a cherry on top, or it's actually vital if you're planning to build a family. We see what happens to the family breakup and dissolution in the Western world. Divorce is an all-time high. USA has the most single mothers on the planet. I think it's like 23% our families are single mother only, right? In other countries like China, they got 1.4 billion people, but their single mother rate is like 3%. So, I mean, they figured it out, but apparently the West can't. So, travel, expand your horizon, do what's best for you. And if you're going to build a family, build it elsewhere. Research the society, research the culture, because this Western culture is falling. It is literally what we see in modern day. We're seeing the destruction of a society. It is falling, and you don't want to be here to catch it. And I know for a fact that men's thoughts are starting to get dark. And when men get dark, good things don't happen. Men are really capable of engaging, in ways, because at the end of the day, we're trying to equalize them, but men are way more powerful. Fact of the matter, if they make up their mind to do something, they're very powerful. They're capable of carnage and in ways that I don't think we've seen, because the world's been so civilized. And we got jokes, but unfortunately, men are starting to have these thoughts. That's why, men, you really need to travel. You really need to get away and don't go to this place. Because I see more and more, I see these jokes that are starting to happen. But if you look at them closely, they're based in not a place that is nurturing or chivalrous or all these areas of care and gentleness for women. They're not based in that. They're jokes that are coming down to like, oh, you think you're equal? You can harm me? Well, we got a certain way too. Now, this joke is really funny. This TikTok is hilarious. I died laughing. But when I thought about the underlying aspect of it, it's not too good, but we'll check it out.
And I hate it at the same time. You and I drink the poison from the same vine.
Hold on, we're going to look at it again. He said he was in a gym working out and this woman clutched her purse and held it tightly as he walked by. Then he shows you the purse. Obviously, he grabbed it and he was able to obtain it, not easily. And he was like, girl, you think you're stronger than me? Just let her know he's a man. Men are powerful.
Oh, I love it and I hate it at the same time. You and I drink the poison from the same vine.
Oh, it is hilarious. That is so funny. But Travel Brothers, I said it a million times. Please like and subscribe. Comment. Let me know if you disagree, if you think something other than the points that I'm making. Am I honing in on just negative information? Are U.S. women misunderstood? Are men just bad? Are we not understanding them? Are they equal to us and we need to accept it and figure it out and stop being, masculine? Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. This is Gamma Effect. Peace.